Using an overpriced trash bag.
Pricey, pricey, pricey!
A bag that breaks.
Whippy, whippy, whippy!
Or a smelly bag.
Stinky, stinky, stinky!
Time to switch to Hefty Ultra Strong trash bags, always at an ultra low price.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
They're our best bags yet, and they cost less than Glad Force Flex were sold head to head. So you'll be
happy, happy, happy!
Hefty Ultra Strong with Arm & Hammer odor control. Available at Sam's Club.
Hefty, hefty, hefty!
Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Partners in Health and Biz with your host, Gail Dixon. Tune in every Saturday, 9 a.m. for great shows about obtaining and maintaining health, business, and finance. Learn from the experts here at PIHradio.net. And now, broadcasting from the Partners in Health and Biz studio, here's Gail.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to my show. Welcome to Partners in Health and Biz. We are so very happy you could join us this morning. And we have a special show planned for you, as we always do. If you've been to the website, then you know today's show is Integrative Health Solutions for Cancer Patients with my special guest, Nigel Reid. And so we're not going to share a lot of the commercials that we normally do because this is such an important show. So we are just going to jump right into the presentation. What I'd like for you to do this morning is, if you have pen and paper, get ready so you can take notes. And if you'd like to call in, we probably can take one caller this morning. The call-in number is 347-945-7433, 347-945-7433. I know you're very anxious to hear what our special guests have to say this morning, so let me tell you a little bit about my special guest. Nigel Reid is a graduate of the University of London, LLB, Institute of Integrative Nutrition. He is a health coach for the Institute of Nutritional Endocrinology and a holistic practitioner specializing in insulin resistance. Nigel is currently pursuing board certification via the National Association of Nutritional Professionals. Also, a little bit about ALLCARE, the organization that he represents. ALLCARE Integrative Health Solutions, AIHS, is an offshoot of ALLCARE Chiropractic with locations in Annapolis, Bowie, and Laurel. Its mission is to help eliminate disease processes related to compromised immune systems, and with particular emphasis in helping cancer sufferers achieve better outcomes. So without further ado, I'd like to open up Mr. Nigel Reid's microphone and welcome him to Partners in Health and Biz. Good morning, Nigel. Are you with us this morning?
I am, Gail. How are you?
Very good, thank you. And how are
Good.
you?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, loud and clear.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. I met you recently at an event, and you spoke about your mission and what you're doing to help people. Very interesting work that you're doing. And so I just want to have a little conversation and find out what this is all about. And I know when we spoke earlier during a recent conversation, you mentioned glutathione. So, and a lot of us have no idea what the glutathione is, and some people do. And I think you said you had an associate also that you wanted to introduce to us. So I don't know at what point would you like to introduce him now, and is he on with us?
Jim, are you there? Yeah, Jim was supposed to
call
also
in?
call in. Yes.
Oh, okay. I see him. I see
Yeah.
Jim. Let me open Jim's microphone. Okay, just a minute. Hello, is this Jim?
Yes. How are you?
Oh, good. How are you? We're on the air, and we're broadcasting live from our Columbia studio. I have Nigel on the line with us, and we're all joined together. So he wanted to tell us, before we get into the conversation, introduce you and what your part is with the organization.
Right. Well, Gail, let me first thank you for having me on your amazing platform, and giving me this opportunity to share information on immune health. but more specifically to talk about nutritional immunology, but with an emphasis on glutathione therapy. As you mentioned, my colleague, Jim Spencer, was available today to join me, and I'm really happy that he was able to do so. Jim actually is one of the world's foremost experts on glutathione therapy, and he is responsible actually for training physicians around the world on this amazing therapy. It's a very little known therapy, and I believe that the information that we're going to hear today, that both Jim and I will present, will be something that is rather unique, and it actually comes on the heels of about 40 years of research. So at this point, I'm going to introduce Jim. Jim Spencer, are you there?
Yes, I am, Nigel.
Fantastic. All right, Gail, back to you.
Okay. Thank you for joining us, Jim Spencer. So, so exactly explain to us, my audience, our listeners, explain to us what is glutathione and what is the role in nutritional immunology.
You want to take that, Jim, or do you want me to take that?
Yes, I'd be happy to, Dale. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, loud and clear. Go right ahead.
Okay. Well, it's a pleasure to be with you this morning, and I appreciate the opportunity to spread the word even more. If you do a little research on glutathione, you'll find that it was discovered well over 100 years ago. They were using a microscope to examine the human eye, and they found this tripeptide protein molecule. It eventually, because it had 3 amino acids, and it was from the gamma sulfhydryl grouping, they called it glutathione. And they found that in eyeballs that were healthy, it was abundant. But in an eyeball that had a cataract, why, it wasn't there. They didn't put 2 and 2 together for 100 years, though. So it was about 40 years ago that a research scientist found out that there was a way to augment it and to get it back to better levels at the cellular level. And that is what led to eventually glutathione therapy. Now, glutathione is a small molecule that's in every cell of your body. So all the cells in your body have this unique molecule. It's a very powerful antioxidant, but it has the unique ability to fuel the formation of the T cells, which are used for fighting infections, either bacterial or viral. And so it's very critical for immune system function. Inside of the cell, it has the ability to scavenge free radicals as they're formed by passing over hydrogen to them. And so it actually protects the cell from free radicals trying to get into the cell or to actually do damage from within. So in essence, it has the ability to help the cells live longer. And obviously, if the cells live longer, you live longer. So it's an anti-aging protocol. But from the aspect of what you're talking about today, which is cancer, cancer, of course, is a scourge right now. If you go back 100 years ago, it's been reported that there was about a 3% cancer epidemic in the United States. Now it's about 50%. So what has changed? Well, to a great extent, it's been the food and the access to these unique amino acids, which were in abundance 100 years ago in food, but now you have to go out of your way to find them. But if you can, glutathione has the ability to help prevent the cell from mutating. And that's the critical issue. If you have a preventive mechanism inside the cell that prevents it from mutating in the first place, then the preventive nature of it is what is going to help prevent you from getting cancer.
Okay. Wow. That's powerful information. So we'd also like to find out, basically, if you can share an example. This would be very helpful to us. If one of you can share an example of how cancer cells are actually formed, briefly. I know that's a lot, but
sure.
If you can break it down.
That's a very good question, and it's got a very good answer. There was a book written with the title "Breakthrough in Cell Defense" by the doctor who really is credited with learning how to augment glutathione. And interestingly, the cell is under attack even more so today than it was 100 years ago. We have a huge amount of more pollution in the air that we breathe, in the water that we drink, in the food that we eat. There's toxins that didn't even exist 100 years ago that are carcinogenic. They've discovered a reactive oxygen species that comes from buses in the large cities, which is 28 times smaller than a human hair. But when you breathe it in, it's carcinogenic. Now, these different carcinogenic materials, heavy metals, such as lead and cadmium and mercury. Actually, mercury now is getting more and more prevalent in the fish that we eat, which is another complication. They used to tell us, eat fish, it's good for you. Now you're warned about fish even on the fishing licenses in some states.
You're right, the mercury and all in the fish also, yeah.
Exactly. So, in essence, even the sunshine, it used to be that, and of course it still is beneficial with the ability to help with vitamin D, but if a gamma ray was to hit one cell in the body, and from that radiation cause some damage to the cell, well, the DNA is mutated. The other thing that we have that we didn't have 100 years ago are very strong types of radiation used for, sometimes innocuous things. If you were to measure the amount of radiation in one CAT scan, it's equal to laying out in the sun all day long for 90 days straight.
Oh my God!
And you get that in one CAT scan. The New York Times reported that they estimate 27,000 people in 1 year will get cancer from CAT scans. I didn't write that,
I don't like
but
that
in essence, somebody might go in to see if they have cancer, and they come out with it. So that's not a good thing either. Radiation also accumulates. Airline pilots have the highest amount of prostate cancer among men, and the airline stewardesses the highest amount of breast cancer among women. They fly closer to the sun. The radiation goes right through the plane, right through them. So, in essence, we're in a time period when one cell could be mutated. It could be by a carcinogen. It could be by a heavy metal. It could be by radiation. But once that one cell has mutated, it no longer is a normal cell that has the protective parameters. Now, a normal, healthy cell can only make so much glutathione and no more. So you can't overdose glutathione. However, a mutated cell, when it splits, you've got 2 mutated cells. And then when they split, you've got 4, and then 8, and 16, and 32, and 64. And they do not have that regulatory mechanism to stop glutathione from going to higher levels. So cancer cells can make crazy amounts of glutathione. And that is why it's so hard to kill a cancer cell. The immune system itself has trouble. It absorbs and steals a lot of oxygen. And so, in essence, this is something that has changed with the times. Now, interestingly, there's an anomaly. Yeah, there's an anomaly that occurs when you push the body to make more glutathione. it has the opposite effect on cancer cells. At first you might think, wow, I better not fuel any more glutathione production. But if you push it